So you're thinking about starting a manga collection. Maybe you were walking by the manga section in your local bookstore and thought, hey, I want to check out some of these series. Maybe an anime you were watching that you were so passionate about just ended abruptly and now you want to know what happens next. Or maybe you watched some guy on YouTube read an entire manga series in a week and you were thinking, wow, I kind of want manga now. Whatever the reason is, this is the video for you. I've been collecting manga as a hobby for a while now. I have over 500 volumes in my collection. In this video, I'm going to teach you about all the knowledge I've gathered over the years, all the money-saving tips and money-wasting mistakes that I've made and how to avoid them, so that hopefully by the end of this video, you can get a better idea of how to build a pretty cool manga collection. Okay, so to start this off, what kind of manga do you like? Do you even know? There's an incredibly large amount of manga genres to read from, and within those genres, there's an even larger amount of mangas to choose. The last thing you want to happen is you go to the store and you buy a volume, or you're surfing the web and you order something. You spend all this time getting your hands on a specific volume just to realize that you don't even like it and you wish you didn't even get it. I personally suggest, before you make the decision to purchase a manga volume, to go over a couple of ground rules. Is the series actually good, or been given praise by people in the community? Do you actually like the series, or is it just a hot new thing right now and you're just going along with the hype? Is this series something you could see yourself revisiting in the future? Because remember, this stuff isn't digital code that you could just buy and forget about. Just like the hundreds of games that you probably bought during the Steam winter sale that are just rotting away in your library, never going to be touched. You're not going to play these games.
I know you.
These are physical things that you're buying, probably going to buy a lot of too. This stuff, it sticks with you, so make sure you're sure about your purchase before getting something. I personally own all of Promised Neverland and Demon Slayer, and I'll be honest, I'm not the most thrilled about having these in my collection. Both of these series I mainly just blind bought because there was a lot of hype going on around the anime at the time. I definitely took a risk, and I'm not trying to say that these two series are bad, they're just personally not for me. After reading a couple of the volumes, I just realized I wasn't really too into it like everybody else, and that's okay. I do still have them on my collection because they look nice, but I do wish, if I could go back in time, that I would have spent the money on something else that I would have cared about more. And I know it can be tough sometimes to figure out if a series is actually worth it. There's some series that are incredibly popular and there's so many people online glazing it, and then others that only have one singular Reddit post from a dude 7 years ago named Deleted User saying it's the greatest or worst thing in the world. Thank you, Deleted User, for your contribution. Who are you? Judging the quality of a series can be really tough sometimes, so here's a couple of things that you could do. Number one, try to find the series online. Try to read a couple of chapters of it and see if you actually like it. Do you like the characters? Do you like the artwork? Do you like the direction the story is going in? If not, don't get it. Number two, you could watch different YouTube videos on people who actually check out manga. Here's a couple of creators that I think are pretty cool and could give you some pretty good advice on what you should check out. Number three, you could just ask people online in a bunch of different communities. I don't personally know any communities that I could recommend to you to go and check out, but I will say I do have a Discord server with a ton of people who really like manga in it. So if you're looking to ask some people who know a thing or two about manga, jump into the server and go ask them. I'm almost positive they're gonna help you out. If you're interested in joining, I got a link down below for you to check out. And while you're at it, hit the subscribe button, man. What kind of bookshelf are you gonna get? This is also something you kind of have to think about because you don't want to just buy a bunch of manga and then have nowhere to put it. I mean, actually you could. I don't really know how you live your life. I personally like putting my books on a bookshelf, so that's what we're gonna talk about. Over the years, my collection has changed a lot. I've gotten so many different bookshelves. Here's what I could recommend. If you're looking for something on a budget, go for something on a budget. My first couple of bookshelves were like $20 ones I bought at my local Target or Walmart. These did the job just fine. Were they the best quality in the world? No, but they at least held books, and that's exactly what I needed them for. Over the years, I slowly started buying more and more manga, and my collection started getting bigger and bigger and bigger. So that's why I have these three giant bookshelves right behind me. These two right over here were a gift, and then this one I bought at IKEA for $70. Now, maybe $70 is crazy for you, and you can't really justify buying that for your collection, and that is completely okay. For me personally, it just made sense. Plus, I don't think it's ever a bad idea to invest in a bookshelf because bookshelves can hold more than just books. They could hold other things. This is getting really obvious. Find something cool, find something in your budget, and just go with it. Okay, so let's say you do have an idea of the type of manga you want to start collecting. Should you just go all in and splurge a bunch of money on buying the entire series? No. It's probably really cool to see a giant collection like this and be inspired and motivated and want to go to the store and spend a bunch of money to get something quite similar to this. At least that's how I was when I was first collecting. But honestly, the best piece of advice I can give to you is just to take it slow. That's currently where my mindset is at with collecting manga, and I feel like it's changed everything. I collect manga at a lot slower of a pace now for a couple of reasons. Number one, it's because it's easier to manage and keep track of everything that you have. And number two, it just makes it so that the hobby never become stale for me. I found that the act of prolonging the manga collection's construction actually allowed for me to prolong the journey, make me enjoy it a lot more, because it prevented me from ever doing too much and then getting burnt out. Also, you should make sure you leave yourself enough time to read the manga. I've found that whenever I have spent a bunch of money on manga, like I've splurged a bunch on a giant manga order, I would get so excited that I had like 50 new volumes, 60 new volumes, and I'd end up not reading some of them as a result. There was just so many options to now choose from to read that I'd end up forgetting about the ones that maybe I didn't care about as much. I personally have a lot going on in my day, and I have a lot of manga. So one of my best strategies for getting through my collection is just reading manga right before I go to sleep. And speaking of sleep, I want to take a second to thank the sponsor of today's video, Manga Sleep. They're back on the channel, and I'm pretty happy about it because their sleep masks are genuinely amazing. I've been using their Manga Sleep Pro Mask for about a month now, and it's been an absolute game changer. I'm someone who likes to take a lot of quick midday naps to give myself a nice recharge. I know this is a little obvious, but it's bright during the day, and that makes it really tough sometimes to go to sleep. But this sleep mask completely gets rid of that problem by blocking out all the light in your surroundings. They aren't heavy or irritating or get in the way at all. They're soft, comfortable, and really easy to put on. Manga Sleep wants to help you improve your sleep, and they do a really good job at it. There's a variety of different masks for you to choose from on their website, so if you're interested in supporting the channel and picking up a sleep mask for yourself, click the link in my description, use the promo code Teniz for 10% off your first order. Thank you, Manga Sleep. Let's continue the video. Now I feel like you should have a pretty good idea of the types of mangas that you want, the type of bookshelves that you would be putting them on, and how fast you should be collecting your series. Now let's talk about the type of series you should actually be collecting. For anyone just starting their manga collection, I would always recommend to start off with just focusing on 2 series. One ongoing one and one that's already been completed. Now you might be wondering, why? Why would I do that? Well, first of all, committing to only 2 series to start off your manga collection, depending on what series they are, of course, is actually a pretty simple task. Please, for the love of God, do not be the person who starts off their collection with 10 different volume 1s of 10 different series they're planning on collecting, because your collection is just gonna look messy. You're not gonna know which series you should start investing your money in first to actually complete first, and it's just gonna be a lot, and then you're probably just gonna not do anything and just be left with a bunch of volume 1s. I get it, there's a bunch of series out there that look really cool and you want to collect them, but when you start doing this, you're gonna start killing your own motivation and momentum. Manga collections are really fun once you actually start seeing some results. It is a lot more fulfilling of having 10 volumes of the same series as opposed to 10 volumes of completely different series. So anyway, getting back to it, why should you collect 1 ongoing and 1 completed series? Well, the ongoing series has the purpose of prolonging the journey. Typically, new volumes for a series take about 2 months to be released, which is actually really great. The ongoing series is going to have the purpose of bringing you back into the hobby. Whenever you go to the bookstore and see that a new volume has been released, you're going to get pretty excited and buy it. And slowly as you're doing this, you're just getting one step closer to completing the entire thing. Now, I also recommend collecting a series that's completed now because it's going to keep the collection interesting now. Whenever you go to a bookstore, you're probably always going to be able to find a volume that you actually need. A lot of these completed series just kind of rot on the shelves. A lot of people are only going to the bookstore to buy the stuff that's currently being released. So a lot of these older volumes, they're always there. So might as well go and pick them up. Okay, now let's say you know the series that you want to collect, but there's one issue. You go to the bookstore and you're going to start collecting them, but there's different versions of the book. Which one do you get? This right here is volumes 85, 86, and 87 of One Piece. And this right here is volumes 85, 86, and 87 of One Piece. Just, it kind of looks a little bit different. This right here is 3 single manga volumes. And this right here is an omnibus that is a combination of these 3 volumes. This is a case-by-case scenario. Not every single manga you're gonna be collecting is gonna have these variety of ways to collect them, but when you run into a scenario like this, which one should you get? So if you wanted to only collect the single volumes, each one would cost you about $12 at the moment. Whereas with the omnibuses, I believe they cost around $17. So if you do the math, if you're collecting the omnibuses, you're gonna save a lot more money. But should you? Personally, I would say, especially with the paperback versions of the omnibuses, these are always a pass in my eyes. Unless you're purely collecting just to catch up with the story itself, I don't like how these look. The volume overall is made with a lot cheaper of a paper quality compared to the regular individual volumes. Plus, I'm a guy who just really likes manga covers, and this this is not fun to look at. This is really boring. If you're looking to just catch up on a story and you're on a budget, then omnibuses are definitely the way to go. But if you're actually looking to grow a manga collection, spend the extra couple of dollars and buy the single volumes. I think it'll be more worth it in the long run. Also, oh my God, I almost forgot about this. These down over here are my Vagabond volumes, and they're 3-in-1 omnibuses. Now, I just said you shouldn't really be going for these, and I know it's a little contradictory, but I think these are really cool because when you put them together, they have a connecting spine. It's a tiny little detail that I just personally really liked and made me go the extra mile to actually go out and collect all of these. But I did run into a big issue. Omnibuses, as I said, are cheaper in print quality. And this book, while I was reading it, the pages fell out of the book. So yeah, look at this. This is horrible. Now, there's a couple of solutions for this. Number one, I could figure out how to rebind the book, but I'm not gonna do that. Or number two, I could also invest in a different version of Vagabond that just released. See, not only do mangas have single volumes and omnibuses, but they also have hardcover volumes, like this right here for Berserk. Now, Vagabond also has one of these that is releasing at the moment. I already own all of Vagabond and read it all, so I don't really feel like spending the extra $50-ish just to get them in hardcover volumes. I don't know, it doesn't make sense to me at the moment. But hardcover deluxe editions, what do I think about them? They're pretty cool. I would definitely say if there is a series you are checking out and they have a deluxe edition, I think you should go the extra mile and actually just purchase it. I do really think these are worth it, especially with series with incredible art. Berserk, for example, the artwork is amazing. And dude, let me just tell you, whenever I'm showing off my manga collection to someone, they are always looking at the hardcovers first. These catch people's eyes when they're on a shelf, and for good reason. They look awesome. Vinland Saga up here, these are hardcovers. They look pretty cool. JoJo's Bizarre Adventure up here, they're hardcovers. They also look pretty cool. While we're on the subject of different versions of mangas that you could buy, let's not forget about the box sets. I have a decent amount of them and I leave them all up on top of my collection because I just think they look nice. The first 70 volumes of One Piece that is currently in my collection was all brought to me because of box sets. These things are awesome. Maybe some of you guys out there don't really know what a box set is, so let me explain it really quickly. Let's say there's a series with 24 volumes. Instead of buying the 24 volumes individually for $12 each, a box set will bundle them all together and sometimes be at an even cheaper price. So you could buy the series in bulk for less money. That's pretty cool. So as opposed to spending over $1,000 for over 100 volumes of One Piece, I spent around $500, $600, maybe $700, which is still a lot, yes. But keep in mind that the remaining volumes from volume 71 all the way up to 107, I didn't buy with a box set. And there is a new box set that currently released for One Piece, box set number 4, but it wasn't out at the time when I was collecting the entire series. There's a ton of different box sets out there for Naruto, Bleach, Assassination Classroom, Dragon Ball. If there's a series you really enjoy and that you want to commit to, I do think you should spend the extra money and buy a box set. Plus, when that box set is in your hands and you get to look at all the volumes, oh my God, the dopamine rush is insane. Saving money. So box sets are the first thing I could definitely recommend for when someone asks me how they can easily save money on manga. Buying manga at your local bookstore, it's pretty nice, but wow, is it expensive. This is actually the primary way I buy my manga. The only reason I do it is because I have a YouTube channel, so manga shopping videos are kind of interesting and people like watching them. So I bite the bullet, and instead of buying the manga online for a cheaper price, I spend the extra couple of dollars just to make an interesting video for you guys. That's primarily how I buy my manga. Now, back before I had this YouTube channel, it was a bit different. Manga volumes can definitely be purchased for a lot cheaper if you buy them online. Now, there's a couple of options you could do for this. You could probably go on eBay or some kind of marketplace to buy manga off somebody else because honestly, some people just don't really want their collection anymore and they're just trying to get rid of these volumes. So you can end up getting a bunch of books for a pretty good deal. Now, I've never done it, so I don't really want to give you any tips or strategies because it would just be a lie. I've never done it before, so why would I tell you what to do when I literally have no knowledge on it? Another thing you could do, which I have done, is look at websites that sell manga. The big website I used to use back in the day was Right Stuff Anime, but now they've been bought out by Crunchyroll. And Crunchyroll, I have purchased off of their site. They do sometimes have pretty cool sales for manga, so I would always keep an eye out for that. Another website that I use is just Amazon. Amazon is pretty quick at delivering your manga, and also sometimes the prices are cheaper than MSRP. There's a bunch of different sites out there that sell manga, or you could just join different discords or communities and just ask people if anyone is selling anything. I do get lucky though. Sometimes my local bookstore will have deals like buy 2 get 1 free on manga or buy 1 get 1 free on manga. That's a lot of the stuff I wanted to share with you. Hopefully you found something in this video helpful. Subscribe to the channel and go watch some of my other videos. Goodbye, guys.